How do the rich make money? The secret lies in cash flow and financial luck. Greetings to you all. Have you ever wondered how much wealth you could accumulate in your lifetime? Have you ever thought about how much money you can earn throughout your life? Let's test your intelligence a bit. Suppose you can only earn 10 billion VND in your entire life. How can you change your fate and earn more than that number? If you can't find the answer, there is only one reason: you don't understand money. And you don't understand Buddhist teachings. Today, I will reveal some truths about capital markets. These truths might offend some major corporations or even affect certain countries. So, I will speak in a subtle way yet still clear enough for you to understand. The first thing you need to remember is never think about owning money, because money never really belongs to you. Money always belongs to your country. What we need to do is find every legal way to bring money into our pocket and then make that money continuously circulate and work for us. You only need to understand one thing: money is not yours. Once you accept that, you'll be able to change your destiny and there will be no limits to how wealthy you can become. I believe those of you who have been following me for a long time already understand this to some extent. Have you noticed that truly rich people hate holding onto cash? For example, if I sell a stock and make a profit today but let the money sit idle, I feel uneasy. Sounds a bit like a gambler, doesn't it? In truth, the difference between the rich and gamblers is just a thin line. The only difference is gamblers use money to bet on risks, while the rich use money to buy assets that generate passive income. So why don't we like to keep cash? Someone might say, but don't businesses need cash? Not really. The most important thing for a business is cash flow, not cash. Do you know the difference between those two? It's simple. Have you ever heard the term dead money? Money that doesn't circulate is dead money. For example, some parents work hard all their lives, saving every penny for their children. But when they die, only then is the money used, and the amount that once could buy a house might now only buy a toilet. That's inflation. If you don't know how to increase the value of your money, if all you do is save it, then every passing day, your money is losing value. Sounds exaggerated? Then take out your wallet and look at the money inside. Does it have your name on it? No, it has your country's name. So who determines its value, you or your country? Let me tell you, not you and not entirely your country either. Today, I'm not here to talk about shallow economic theories of inflation. I want to reveal the truth behind it. I once asked the head of an investment bank, a true financial shark, and from that conversation, I understood how the rich turn dead money into living money, and how this world shears the sheep and harvests the young rice from ordinary people. As I said, I don't know whom this talk might offend, so I urge everyone to hit like now, because you might not find this video again later. I also want to emphasize that this channel was created to share knowledge about getting rich, becoming entrepreneurs, and achieving financial freedom. If you don't want to miss these important insights, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Now, I'll share a practical tip. I've previously mentioned that people should learn to use financial leverage to buy more real estate. But some ask, what if housing prices fall? Or what if I can't repay the debt? Let me tell you a story. Though it's simple, it might help some people break free from their mental barriers. There was a bank employee. One day, his son asked, "Dad, this bank doesn't belong to you, so why do you, just an employee, earn so much money?" The father said, "Go to the fridge and bring me a piece of meat." The son obediently did so. Then the father said, "Now put it back in the fridge." Though annoyed, the son still complied. Then he said, "Dad, are you messing with me? Did I say something wrong?" The father smiled and said, "Not at all. I just gave you your answer." The son got frustrated and replied, "You're just making me run back and forth." The father laughed, "Then look at your hands, what's on them?" Suddenly, the son realized the lesson. I don't know if you understand, but this is why the rich always borrow money to keep cash flow running through their hands. Got it? As long as money keeps flowing through our hands, we'll always have profit. But don't get me wrong. I'm not teaching anyone to embezzle or do anything illegal. What I want to stress here is, we need the right to use money, not the right to own it. Do you know the companies behind games like Arena of Valor or Honor of Kings? If your answer is game companies, let me ask again. Do those companies really make money from the games? Do you pay to play them? No, they're free to download, aren't they? So how do those companies actually make money? If I told you that these companies are, in fact, financial institutions, would you believe it? Let's clarify one thing. Can a business legally create money? According to the law, no. But think carefully. What is money really? Right from the first lesson today, we mentioned that money serves two primary functions. 1. A medium of exchange. For example, if I have a seashell and I can exchange it for a cow, then the seashell is money. 2. A measure of value. If a cow is worth 1 seashell and a pig is worth 10 seashells, then the seashell becomes a unit of account. So remember this. Anything that fulfills these 2 conditions can be considered money. Now think about your own business. Can a company create money? Let's look at the real world. Do we ever use real money to exchange for another kind of money? Yes, in online games. In a game, you can use in-game currency to buy outfits or spin lucky draws. So how do you get this currency? 2 ways. 1. Use real money to purchase it. 2. Log in daily or play enough time to earn rewards. Now I ask you, can this in-game currency be used to buy real-world goods? Put simply, can it be exchanged for real money? Yes, we have ways to convert game currency to real currency. Not only that, but game currency can be used to purchase goods. Think about your bank cards and credit cards. Have you ever been awarded reward points for spending? Are those points essentially money? At the end of the year, can you redeem them for gifts? If you have enough, can you redeem them for an apartment? Legally, yes, that's entirely possible. So what's the key point? If a company can create its own form of money in any form, as long as there's a community that believes in it and uses it for exchange, then is it considered money? Absolutely. And this concept has existed for a while. Smart people realized this long ago. That's why Bitcoin came to be. Bitcoin succeeded using the same principle that internet businesses thrive on. It depends on one thing: the number of people who believe in it. The more people believe in it, the higher its value. In today's world, if you're an entrepreneur and don't even have 5,000 followers, how can you build an empire? We must stop seeing customers as just customers. We must view them as fans. Look at Apple, Xiaomi, Tesla, or Louis Vuitton. Their customers aren't just customers, they're fans. You've heard of Mi fans or Apple fans, right? So what does this have to do with you? Now you might understand how modern trading platforms really operate. They're exploiting the right to use money. Why do trading platforms charge little or no fees when you deposit money and make transactions? Because they don't earn from the fees, they profit from the cash flow circulating on the platform. These companies are banks, financial institutions, only their names don't reflect that. Imagine this: you deposit $1 million into a trading platform. Immediately, their books record an extra $1 million. If 1 million users each deposit $1 million, how much is that in total? An enormous number. But the number doesn't matter. What matters is how that money is used. Now imagine waking up one day to find you have $1 billion. The uninformed would deposit it in a bank at 2% interest and think they're making $20 million a year. But think, if financial companies have teams of investment professionals, how much can they make from that money? That's why I always say, all wealthy people find ways to keep money flowing through their hands and invest it outward. They make money from cash flow. They play with financial leverage. Do you get this? Even if you're just an individual and not a financial institution, you still need to find ways to revive your cash flow, instead of letting it sit idle in the bank and become dead money. Because that hard-earned money you keep in the bank, if left unused, is simply being borrowed by others to create more wealth for themselves. If you've listened this far, you'll understand how to use financial tools to play the cash flow game. There's a book I want to recommend to you, Fake, by Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've mentioned this book before, but today I want to highlight a key historical detail it contains. This historical fact relates to the United States. What's astonishing is that even today, many people still don't know about it, or if they do, they don't understand how it affects their lives or how to change it. That, to me, is baffling. If you want to become stronger, the first thing you need to do is study the strongest players in the world. And one of the strongest nations on earth, without debate, is the United States. Why is the United States so powerful? I once mentioned a famous quote from the Rothschild family. "Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes its laws." Those who enjoy studying history probably know how the US used to be. They went through a significant event and, as a result, came to possess over half of the world's wealth. It's simple. At one point in human history, we used gold as a medium for trade and financial education. When everyone believed gold was the standard for exchange, its value became limitless. In 1944, 44 of the most developed nations at the time made a joint decision. Only the United States would be allowed to produce gold. and all other countries were no longer permitted to freely own gold. Are you familiar with this historical period? From that moment, gold became the sole official unit of global trade and payment. This meant the US could use gold to buy up assets and resources from around the world. But here's the issue, only the US had the right to produce gold. So, does that mean they could decide how much gold they had? Exactly. From there, America gradually became the most powerful country in the world. They mined gold, then used it to purchase everything other nations produced. They used gold to attract the best talent from other countries. They used gold to acquire the most advanced technologies in the world. Because globally, gold was the only designated trading currency and only the US controlled gold, they became the global hegemon. So if you want to succeed, you must study economics and capitalism. But that's not even the most powerful part of the story. Have you ever wondered why the US dollar is called the dollar? Initially, Americans found gold cumbersome and inconvenient to trade with, so they converted gold into paper and called it the US dollar. Other countries agreed. From then on, the US dollar became the only global payment currency, and everything changed completely. So, who issues the US dollar? That would be the Federal Reserve. Then, President Nixon declared the end of the gold standard, which means what exactly? It means that from that point onward, the amount of US dollars printed was entirely up to the US. They could print as much as they wanted. Gold was no longer the benchmark for the dollar's value. Its worth now relied solely on the credibility and economic strength of the US. But there's a problem. If too much gold exists globally, its value will drop. So how could the US control that? They had two options. 1. Mine gold from their own reserves. 2. Borrow gold from other countries. If others refused to lend them gold, they could increase their own mining output, flooding the market and devaluing other countries' gold reserves. Few people know this. Today, the US has printed tens of trillions of dollars, and this number keeps rising by the second. That's why, when I say you should borrow money to buy a house, some people ask, what if housing prices drop? What if I can't repay the loan? What if I go bankrupt? But I want to ask the opposite. What if your money keeps losing value? What if the US can't repay its debt? Would you rather hold cash or hold assets like real estate and gold? Everyone knows the US is drowning in debt, so why haven't they collapsed like a regular business? Because they hold power. Nowadays, people talk a lot about the metaverse, the virtual world. In the future, we may fully transition into a digital world. I truly believe it's possible. Before online games existed, who would have thought we could battle each other in a virtual world? That we could sit in front of a screen, connect via the internet, and team up to hunt monsters? Nobody thought it was possible, but look at us now. With just a phone, we can chat through apps and social networks. So, in the future, creating a virtual world is not that far-fetched. When I was a kid, I imagined this, maybe because of an animated movie I watched. I dreamed of a world where, even though we don't have Pikachu or Mewtwo in real life, maybe we could have amazing Pokemon battles in a virtual world. But I digress. What I want to say is, online games already have their own currencies. So in the future, what currency will the virtual world use? Will it still be the US dollar? If not, what will happen to the United States? Feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts. Regardless of your answer, one thing is certain. The amount of cash in the world will keep increasing. That means cash will keep losing value. We are now entering the era of the internet powered by AI and the metaverse. This will trigger a series of massive changes, possibly another industrial and economic revolution. Look at what the pandemic did. It forced countless industries to shift from traditional business models to online ones. That was the stepping stone to help humanity gradually adapt rather than being hit suddenly by a technological revolution. Think about Jack Ma. After he created Taobao and Alibaba, what happened to traditional businesses in China? Many commercial stores and retail shops were wiped out almost overnight. Now, consumers tend to visit stores only to try things on, then buy them online for cheaper. This is exactly how a tech revolution unfolds. Whether it's ethical or not, it's still a form of social progress, something history has proven over and over again. Currently, there are people silently adapting and transitioning. By the time the majority realizes the opportunity to make money from the virtual economy, you will no longer have the advantage. By then, the blue ocean will have already been claimed. I always encourage people to start their own business, but I also understand that not everyone dares to step out of their comfort zone to change their fate. I myself started from nothing. Those who know me well are fully aware of my capabilities. What I share and what I teach all come from real experiences I've personally been through. There's no such thing as luck here, nor are they empty theories. Everything I offer is drawn from years of hustling in the business world. I believe that entrepreneurship is like physics. It is a science with its own laws and can be studied and replicated. As long as you have a system and a clear framework, you can absolutely apply it to your actual situation. And now I will share with you the most important part of this content. I'll be direct with you. How to turn dead money into living money through finance. This is a different aspect of money known as intangible assets. Land is actually a type of intangible asset. Some people will object, that's not true, land is a tangible asset, anyone can see it. But I'll reveal a secret to you, in financial statements, land should be listed as an intangible asset. Why? Those who have followed me long enough probably already know the answer. Because what you are really buying is the right to use the land. And what is a right? It's an intangible asset. Got it now? That piece of land or house you bought doesn't truly belong to you, it belongs to the government. I see many people unaware of this, yet still rushing to buy property. Check it yourself, does your land use right have an expiration date? In this world, apart from the things you eat, nothing else truly belongs to you. This is the biggest truth of this world. It may take time for you to accept that. So from now on, don't think about owning something, think about how to use it. Love is the same, don't try to possess or control your partner. But I'm digressing. Let's get back to the main topic, how to turn dead money into living money. Listen closely, let's say I have $10 million. I use that money to buy a piece of land, but under the name of my company. You also have $10 million, but you leave it in your company's bank account. Your advantage is cash flow, you can withdraw and spend it anytime. But what about cash? Is it appreciating or depreciating? Of course it's depreciating because the interest from the bank is too low. As for me, even though the land I bought isn't highly liquid and I can't immediately withdraw money from it, but if the land's value increases, I can do one thing, reappraise the asset. Let's say in year 1, the land is valued at $10 million. In year 2, it rises to $20 million. In year 3, it jumps to $40 million. How is that value increase recorded in accounting books? According to the rules, the increase in asset value is counted as profit. Understand? 3 years later, my company can go public. Why? Because the company's revenue grew 100% every year. Why 100%? Because the land value doubled each year. What about you? You kept $10 million in your bank account. After 3 years, it's still just $10 million. That's what we call dead money. Some might ask, does the financial market not care about a company's actual cash? Of course they do. But in the capital market, the only thing they care about is the financial report. When money becomes an asset, its value completely changes. And that's still not the most important part. Why do I encourage people to start businesses, to become entrepreneurs? Because in this world, the rules of the capital game are always set by the capitalists. The advantage is never with the poor. People think billionaires like Warren Buffett pay a lot in taxes. Earn more, pay more taxes, right? But why does everyone say that billionaires like Buffett, Bill Gates, or former US President Donald Trump sleep very little? Trump once answered, because we have wisdom. Let me tell you a real story so you'll understand immediately. There was a businessman, I won't mention his name, he spent $50 million to buy a Van Gogh painting. The media reported that he bought it as an individual. But here's the big difference, buying personally and buying under the name of a company are two totally different things. If a company spent $50 million to buy the painting, what happens? The painting would be recorded as a fixed asset of the company. Why buy art? Because, according to accounting rules, fixed assets can be depreciated over 5 to 8 years. Let's assume the minimum 5 years. That means the painting's book value would decrease by $10 million per year. This is called depreciation. That $10 million depreciation becomes a company expense. How do you calculate a company's tax? Revenue minus expenses equals profit. Then tax is calculated based on the profit. So what if the profit is 0, or the company has a loss? Pays no tax. That's why this depreciation becomes a cost that offsets the company's revenue. In other words, if the company has $10 million in revenue per year and $10 million in depreciation, its profit becomes 0. When profit is 0, the company owes no taxes. Do you understand now? This is one of the legal ways for a company to optimize taxes. As simple as that, this company saves $10 million in corporate income tax each year. Saving taxes is no different from earning an extra $10 million a year, right? Because that's money you didn't have to pay. So it's considered profit. Not only that after 5 years, the painting has been fully depreciated, its book value is almost zero. At that point, the businessman can buy it back from the company for just $1 under his personal name. Now the painting goes from being a company asset to his personal asset. Meanwhile, on the company's books, only $1 extra of profit is recorded. Do you get my point now? That's why we need to learn how to start a company to protect our interests and use financial strategies to optimize cash flow. Now let me ask everyone, how much do you think this painting is actually worth? Some say it's worth $150 million. That's wrong. You're still misunderstanding the essence of money. The concept of money looks very different in the eyes of an entrepreneur compared to how we perceive it in daily life. So, what determines the value of money for an entrepreneur? It's accounting laws, the financial system, and legal regulations. I'm not bragging here, these are rare insights you won't usually find online. Even if you study finance or accounting at university, chances are you won't learn these things. Why? Because these are practical lessons I learned from financial tycoons, real-life investment moguls. Today, I'm sharing this with everyone, my perspective on the world. So before we talk about capital and finance, the most important thing is to understand the nature of money. Understanding money is extremely important. Money in its different forms holds different values and roles. So what else can money become? It can turn into something called a financial asset. This is a key factor in determining whether you can become a billionaire. Why? Because most companies aiming to go public on the stock market use this method. So among the financial assets, what is the most common type? The answer is company shares. Let me ask you, do shares have value? $10 million in cash can be turned into $10 million worth of shares. Is there any difference? Now, let me pose a hypothetical question. Assume each of us has $10 million in cash. What's the difference between your $10 million and Donald Trump's $10 million? In terms of purchasing power, there's not much difference. But what about in the form of shares? When a company is valued, many different methods are used, like the cost method or the discounted cash flow method. Suppose your company holds $10 million in assets and gets a $10 million valuation. That means what? On the U.S. stock market, a share might only cost $1. Still don't get it? I want you to think about this. Does the share value of a company have to be $10 million? Your books show $10 million in assets, $10 million in cash. But what if we registered that same company under Donald Trump's name? Do you believe the company could instantly be valued at $100 billion? Could each share be worth $1,000? Absolutely. Because if Trump raises capital, investors will fight over the chance to invest. That's exactly why the reputation of the company owner is so important. Most businesses around the world revolve around money. For example, a common business model is to set up a local company. Let's say you live in New York, you spend $10 million to register a company there. But what if you get in touch with Elon Musk of Tesla? He might offer you an entirely different business deal. What's happening here? I strongly advise, never put assets under your own name. Let's say, out of that $10 million, I help you find a company to hold $8 million on your behalf. This service is called nominee shareholding. Have you heard of this term? You might be surprised and ask, why would I do that? But Elon Musk would say, every year, I'll charge you a 3% to 5% service fee, meaning you'll pay around $300,000 to $400,000 per year. And the $8 million needs to be invested. So I help you find an organization to act as the nominee shareholder. Why would an entrepreneur do this? This company should be mine, yet in the end, I only keep $1 to $2 million while Elon Musk helps me find another company to represent the rest. And each year, I still pay him $300,000 to $400,000. Why? The reason is simple. If the nominee company is Apple, then the share structure of your business becomes Apple holds 80% and you keep 10%. But guess what? Apple doesn't actually care about managing your company. So why do this? Because if Apple's name is on your company in a city like New York, imagine the benefits you'll receive. If a famous company invests in your business, won't others scramble to invest too? Of course they will. Because when they invest, they can boast, I'm in business with Apple. Do you understand now? That's why you should never assume the value of money is fixed. When you convert money into shares, its value can change. All these examples are hypothetical, but even if you still don't fully understand after watching this video, that's okay. The most important takeaway is this: if money just sits in your pocket or bank account, it's dead money. Never try to cling to money because money never really belongs to you. What we need is the right to use money. Only when you take money out of your own hands does it truly become yours. But taking it out doesn't mean wasting it. If you're already rich, go ahead. Spend to enjoy life. But if you have nothing yet, then you must learn to transform money into other forms like assets. Tangible, intangible, and financial assets. Most importantly, invest money in knowledge, because your brain is your greatest asset. Due to time limits, I'll stop here. We provide free information on becoming wealthy, becoming an entrepreneur, investor, and achieving financial freedom. If you don't want to miss out, follow our channel, turn on notifications, and share this video. I sincerely hope all of you who supported this video achieve financial freedom soon. If even 1 or 2 lines from this video helped your life, I'm already satisfied.